Now if I go to my chat box, first we need to save this. Make sure you save this. Now if I go to my chat box and refresh this, and we get an error. It says parse error, unexpected end while. So let's go back to our end while, line 25. Navigate to our line 25. So here is an unexpected end while. So the problem is that we need to put a colon after these braces, and it's good to clean our code a little bit. Yeah, so here we go. Now if we refresh our chat box, it should not give us an error. So let's refresh, and here we have the entries that are in our database. So Ali, hey, how are you today? And the second one is John, I am great. So the first one is hey, how are you today? And the second one is John, I am great. So notice that there is no colon after the names. So we simply need to go to our span tags, and where it says name, we need to put a colon over here. So save this, go back to the chat box, refresh, and it gives us an error. So let's figure out the error. So the error over here is that we do not need to put the colon after the name. However, we need to put the colon where our PHP tag ends. So we need to save this, go to our chat box, refresh, and here we have our colon as well. So you notice that when we connected our database with our chat box, you can also see the date and time. So we don't want to see the date, we only want to see the time. So we will fix this later. But first we need to give three things, which are the text areas, enter name, enter a message, and the button which says send it. So we need to give this a function, and that function will be that if we enter a name here, enter a message, and click send it, it should be displayed over here and also be inserted into our database. So to do this, we need to go to our Atom editor and then run a PHP logic after form. So we'll open up our PHP tags, close them, and then create a query statement, which will be equal to insert. Well, let's first create the isSet statement. So this will be if isSet is $_post, and it will be submit. Then we will give it some variables, for example name, and it will be $_post, and the first one will be name, and we'll copy this, and the second one will be message. So change this as well to message. And now after this, we have to create a query statement. So we'll write query is equals to insert into chat1, because this is our database name, or in other words our table name. So insert into chat1, then we'll give a parentheses where value is, or values is blank. So we'll enter a semicolon to close this function, and within the brackets we'll pass our name and message. So over here we'll pass first our name, then our message, and the values will be the variables that we have just assigned. Message, and these should be in single inverted commas. Over here, over here, and the message should also be between the inverted commas. Save this, and now we need to run this query. So to run this query, we'll enter a variable run, then our db object query, and then pass it in this query variable. So it will run this query, and this query is insert into chat1, which is a table name, and insert into name message, and the values will be these. So enter a semicolon after this run statement, save this, and then write an if statement that if run is successful, then we need to pass in echo out, and now we'll enter a tag within the double inverted commas, embed loop is equals to false within single inverted commas, and then the source, which will be chat.wave, and then a hidden property, which will be true, and an autoplay property as well, which will be true as well. And then we need to close our tag. So this means that if this statement is successful, which we have said here that if run is successful, echo out embed loop is equals to false, and source chat.wave. So this is a file, a wave file, and it contains the sound, a pop sound, and it will be played when the message is successfully sent. So hidden is true, that it will not be displayed on the chat box, and autoplay is also true, that once we click the send it button, it will automatically play the sound. So let's quickly save this, go to our chat box, refresh, and there is no error. So this means that we are doing great. So let's enter in a message. So Ali says, "What are you doing?" And if I click send it, it gives us an error on index.php line 35. So let's go back to our Atom editor, navigate to line 35. So the error is that we need to omit the enter over here because the name is message, so we need to write message over here in the name value. So we'll save this, go to our chat box, refresh, and now if we type in a message, for example, Ali says, "What are you doing?" and if I send it or click send it, you notice that it isn't displayed over here. It is displayed in the database, and this is perfect, and this is what we wanted. So if we refresh over here, you will notice that the message is now displayed here. So every time we send a message, we need to refresh. And now to get rid of this, we will use Ajax, because Ajax is a programming language which helps us in displaying objects without refreshing as soon as we enter them. So in this lesson, we created a database, or in other words, linked a database with our index.php file or a chat box, and then gave function to these two text areas and one button. Now in the next lesson, we will get rid of this date over here and use Ajax, so we do not have to refresh this page every time we send a message. So stay tuned, stay focused, keep practicing, and let's move to our next lesson.